So before we actually get into today's video, I want to talk to you guys about jerseyfifa.com, because as you can see they have hooked me up with a load of fresh shirts for this year's World Cup. I've got the England home kit, the England away kit, and also a nice little retro shirt. And you can do exactly the same if you head to jerseyfifa.com using the link in the description down below. They also do the same for club football as well. The latest home shirts, away shirts, but also some really nice retro kits. If you are interested, head to the link in the description down below and use code jerseyfifa for a discount when you order. Now into the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where we have had a few days off to celebrate the new year, so happy new year to you all. But now we are back talking about football and talking about quite a on-trend topic at Manchester United at the moment, and that is left-footed footballers. Now the main reason for this topic being such a big thing at the moment is because Ten Hag has been using Luke Shaw as a left centre-back as opposed to like a natural centre-back like Harry Maguire. So it's led to a lot of people talking about the need for Manchester United to use left-footed centre-backs. Of course, we have Lisandro Martinez now as well. But I want to talk about why Ten Hag wants this, because I was kind of thinking about it the other day. We all go on about Ten Hag wants a left-footed centre-back. He wants a left-footed centre-back. He will always use one in his team because it creates a greater balance. And kind of what I realised was that to me that makes sense, and I know the reasons for that, why a left-footed centre-back is so important. But I realised maybe some people don't. So I thought today we would go through why Manchester United, and Ten Hag in particular, wants a left-footed centre-back in his team. Because like I said, he does literally play a left-back at centre-back just so he can get a left footer there. So what we're going to do today is look at a few of the different reasons why a left footer can be useful in these different areas. We'll go over a few different things. The benefits of a left footer compared to a right footer in this position. There's going to be a few different things that we're going to talk about, and yeah, that's what we're going to get into today. Also, we're going to be using a slightly different tactic board to what we would normally, so let me know what you think of this. Probably won't be used in too many different videos, but I think for this one it makes sense, so let me know if you like it or not. But basically, what we want to talk about is the difference between playing Harry Maguire at centre-back here, or just any right footer really, even Victor Lindelof, compared to someone like Lisandro Martinez or Luke Shaw. Now, obviously, when everyone is fit and available in the team, Luke Shaw will return to left-back, and Lisandro Martinez will come in here. But for now, Lisandro Martinez isn't playing, so Luke Shaw is playing there. So I want to talk about why a left footer. It doesn't matter who it is. At times in a video, it will be Shaw in this position. At times, it will be Martinez. It doesn't matter who it is, the principle is the same. So I want to talk about the benefits of a left footer. And the very first thing is that playing a left footer on the left hand side just instantly sounds like it's going to kind of bring a greater balance. And that is the case. And the first thing that allows United to do is build possession from the back easier. So when Harry Maguire plays in this position, or perhaps Victor Lindelof, and he receives the ball from David De Gea, the first thing he wants to do is step inside the pitch, towards this direction. He wants to step in here and get the ball on his right hand side like this, because then the ball is on his right foot and that's where he can play from. But of course what we can see in terms of the opposition when they are pressing, that is a lot easier to press because he's coming inside the pitch. The inside of the pitch is always more crowded. It's just how teams press, there are more numbers in that area. So having a right-footed player on this side of the defence means they're always stepping into the crowd. If you compare that to having someone like Luke Shaw, who is of course left-footed, they are looking to get the ball on this side now, which means naturally they are now stepping wider. So the first thing that instantly does, it's very, very simple. It allows United to play out from the back a little bit easier because the player is now stepping wider rather than stepping narrower into the crowd. So instantly it means that United are able to progress the ball much easier. It really is as simple as that. Some of the things that we're going to go through will be quite basic, but they're really important, and it's fine margins in football. These fine little details are the difference between a well-balanced team and an off-balanced team. So this is why it's so key. Of course, this kind of works when you're not being pressed so much, but there are also benefits of a left footer when you are being pressed as well. There are times when Manchester United they might go forward, but then are forced all the way back, perhaps to someone like Malacia in this area, and the opposition will use that as a pressing trigger to kind of go really on the hunt and push Manchester United all the way back into their own defensive third. But again, having a left footer allows you to get out of this situation. Shaw in this situation has his body opened up like this. So when he receives the ball on his left foot, he can immediately play a ball into this area. And whether he completes the pass or not, sometimes he might be able to complete it to Rashford, he might complete it to Eriksen. But whether he completes it or not, the important thing is that it's much easier for a sweeping action on his left foot to just sweep the ball up the pitch. Again, if we now put Maguire in this situation, Maguire doesn't want to receive the ball on his left foot, so what he does is he lets the ball run across his body and turns. But by letting the ball run across his body onto his right foot, he's just inviting that extra split second of time to get pressed. So instantly what this means is that the opposition can squeeze higher, and again use that as the pressing trigger to really put United under pressure. Like I said, it's really fine details, just an extra split second of letting the ball run across your body onto your right foot. It immediately puts United on the back foot. Whereas when you use a left footer, we can see from Lisandro Martinez here that naturally he can just sweep this ball with his left foot either into the midfielder here or further up the pitch up the left wing. It just instantly allows United to play out from the back much better, which is something that we know Ten Hag wants to do. So immediately, that is why Ten Hag uses a left-footed centre-back, the ability to play out from the back under pressure. Now, of course, as a football team, if you are able to get better at playing the ball out from the back through the press, you're going to have more possession. And eventually teams kind of sit off, let you have the ball because they know they can't pressure you, and that turns you into a team that is able to potentially dominate the ball a bit more. Especially if you have a left-footed centre-back playing on the left-hand side. And the reason for this is because of the ability to progress the ball forward, and there are a few different ways to do that, which we will look at. The first is the simple pass to the fullback. Having a left footer on this side compared to a right footer changes the trajectory, but also the curve of the football. So a left footer here, Martinez, gets the ball, and the way that he passes this ball is with a bend like this, onto the left foot of Malacia, onto the fullback, who can then step forward and play. If we put Maguire into this position and ask him to do the same thing, Maguire plays the ball on his right foot, which means that the curve is a convex curve. It's a different angle which the ball is going to move. The ball is now going to move like this sort of angle, this sort of curved motion, perhaps onto Malacia's left foot, perhaps onto his right foot, we're not too sure. But what we can see is that by playing the ball on the left foot, it keeps the ball away from the opposition. By playing the ball on the right foot, instantly the ball is coming closer to these defenders. And this is something that the Athletic actually covered quite well the other year. And we can see it here. The angle with which the ball is played is very different if you are right-footed or left-footed. We can see that this right-footed passing angle, this passing curve, is several yards closer to, in this situation, the West Ham defenders. So again, it's a massive difference. Simply by having a left-footed player, a player who wants to play the ball on their left foot, it means that United, or Arsenal on this occasion, but for Manchester United moving forward, by having a left footer in this position, it means that you are able to move the ball forward in a safer manner initially, kind of keeping the ball away from these defenders. But also what you can do is get the ball onto that front foot. Again, if we go back to this picture here, we can get the ball across the player, onto his front foot and allow him to then step forward from here. So again, this is a way that United can progress the ball and gain territory simply by having a left-footed centre-back rather than a right-footed centre-back. Just quickly, actually, before we carry on, something else I want to talk about is the territory that you get by having a left-footed centre-back. Now, we'll come back onto ball progression in a second because that is a very important thing. But this ball progression and ability to get the ball moving forward is helped by the territory that is able to be gained by using a left footer. And a perfect example of the benefits and the disadvantage of this compared from a left footer to a right footer is Harry Maguire. He really is the perfect example of this compared to Lisandro Martinez. So let's say Rafa Varane has the ball on the right side of the defence. The way that Lisandro Martinez likes to play is in line with his other centre-back, if not slightly more advanced. What this does is allows the other centre-back to play the ball forward onto his left foot, and instantly, kind of naturally, being left-footed, the balance of playing on the left side of the pitch, he then wants to step forward into this area with the ball on his left foot, from where he can then progress to Malacia or through the lines to Christian Eriksen. If we compare that to a right footer, in Harry Maguire, a right footer doesn't want to naturally step this way, because what happens then is they become worried that if a defender presses from this side of the pitch, that they then get forced onto left foot. Harry Maguire does not want to be kind of forced and isolated on his left foot, because he knows in himself that he is better on his right foot. So being pressured onto his left foot by having a high starting position isn't ideal for him. So what this means instead is that he doesn't take this risk. So whereas Martinez is holding a high starting position so he can get the ball and step forward onto his left foot, Maguire doesn't want to get forced into doing that. What this means is that Maguire just takes up a starting position which is 2 or 3 yards deeper. So now he can receive the ball onto his right foot and kind of assess the situation in his own time a little bit more. But what happens when you do this is that by every time you're passing to this right foot defender on the left hand side, every time you're going a couple of yards backwards, which means you are now inviting pressure. You kind of see where I'm going with this. And Talking Tactics covered this on Twitter. I highly recommend you follow their Twitter page. And he was talking about it for England. We can see here how high John Stones is compared to Harry Maguire. Now, a left-footed player here would kind of be where my mouse is here, looking to step forward and then play the ball out towards Luke Shaw. Whereas Harry Maguire wants this deeper position because he doesn't want to get forced onto his left foot. So instantly, again, by starting kind of this little bit deeper, it means that every time the ball goes back to this right-footed player, the opposition can use that as a pressing trigger. And again, Manchester United are losing territory, losing position on the pitch, because they're being forced backwards to cater for the fact that they have a right footer. So again, that is yet another reason why Luke Shaw or Lisandro Martinez are preferred in this area by Erik Ten Hag, because they're happy to play a little bit higher. Which, in terms of a dominant football team, of course you're going to have a lot of possession, but it's also important to have territory. You want possession of the ball in advanced areas. If you have a right footer, you're constantly stepping backwards every time. With a left footer, you're stepping forward. So, as a team having a left footer, you have now improved your ability to play the ball out from the back under pressure. You've also improved your ability to maintain possession and also gain territory, because you can play on the front foot a little bit more. What you need to do from here as a dominant team is find ways to get the ball moving forward through the lines, progressing the ball into these dangerous areas where eventually you're going to score goals from. It's all good having a territory in these areas, but if you can't get the ball forward, you're not going to score goals. Luke Shaw isn't going to score from here. So again, we need to look at the advantages of a left footer. And for me, it's really, really simple. It's just an easier forward pass nearly all the time. So if we look at these white shirts here, from a defensive point of view, the main fundamentals of defending are that when you don't have the ball, you are nice and narrow and compact, right? So this right central midfielder here for the other team, he's never going to be defending this side of play. It's just not a natural position for him to play. He always wants to defend on the narrow side. Makes sense, right? That's very, very basic. What this means is that easily a left footer is passing if they're playing a straight forward pass through the lines, they're passing the ball further away from this defender. If we put Harry Maguire back in, and he wants to play from this deeper position but also on his right foot, he's passing the ball in a straight line this side, closer to the defender. Really, really basic. A left footer passes away from the defender in this situation because the defender is always going to be deeper, goal side, narrower. So by having a left footer, you're keeping the ball away from the defender. Some of this stuff is really, really basic. But like I said, it's these fine margins in football which make the difference. And we can see it here. Lisandro Martinez picks the ball up left-footed and fires a pass into Marcus Rashford here. What this does is it gets the team moving forward, takes out 3 Manchester City players, puts United on the front foot and gets them into more progressive, dangerous areas. You can't tell me a right footer can play this pass. They simply can't. A right-footed footballer doesn't complete this pass because they would have to step the other way, which means they're coming towards the defenders. The pass is way more difficult. So again, by having this left-footed defender in this position, it's just easier ball progression. But of course, there is one more other way to progress the ball as well. For me, one of the best ways to progress a football is to drag a team to one side and then hit the switch to the other side of the pitch. I talk about it all the time, the importance of keeping the width, but also isolation wingers. To me, it's vital in the way that the modern game is played. Again, a left footer is absolutely crucial to this, especially in this current Manchester United system. And again, if we're going back to why Ten Hag in particular wants these left-footed centre-backs, this is one of the reasons for it. Because Manchester United like to build the ball left side. United are left side dominant, it's just how they always are. Bruno Fernandes likes to drift to this side, Marcus Rashford, probably the best player at the moment, plays this side, Eriksen, one of the best ball progressors, plays this side, and Martial drifts this way naturally. So, what this allows United to do is kind of drag a team over, and then we can see Anthony over on the other side is a free pass. But only if you can get the ball to him. So, what happens if you play a right footer in this position? Well, Harry Maguire, to be fair, is a good long passer of the football. However, let's say he's getting the ball back from Eriksen, gets the ball here. If it's on his left foot, he can't really hit that pass on his left foot. So what he has to do, again, is kind of step backwards with the ball a little bit, open his body up like this, and then get the ball onto his right foot, and then play the pass. So, and what this does is it creates a more floated pass, but also it delays the pass. Because again, like we saw earlier in deeper positions, he's kind of having to let the ball run across him, get the ball onto his stronger foot, open his body up, and then play the pass. In this time, the opposition could press Maguire to kind of take the pass out of the equation, or they could kind of shift across, get back into a more neutral position, and deal with the long pass. So again, by having a right footer, it's a more difficult thing to do. If we switch it to a left footer, someone like Lisandro Martinez, who is absolutely brilliant with his long range passing, as his ball comes back towards him here, one, he's being proactive and stepping towards it onto his left foot, so rather than waiting for it, he's going towards the ball, giving the opposition less time to assess and defend the situation. But then also, he is naturally playing it quickly, first time, or certainly within 2 touches, pinging the ball out to Anthony, who then from there can use his isolation abilities. So we can see that there are so many ways that Manchester United improve on the ball by having a left footer. Firstly, they are able to get out of the press much easier. In situations like this, a left footer is able to get out of the press. What we also see is that they have an easier pass out to the fullback, also a progressive pass. Their territory is also better. They give United an advantage by having a left footer. They can play higher up the pitch than if you have a right footer, and then they can also break lines as well as playing these long switch passes to get the wingers in the play. There are so many benefits to having this left footer on the ball, but there are also benefits out of possession as well. I am aware that this video is becoming a little bit lengthy now, so we will go over the defensive side of things slightly more briefly. If you want a more detailed breakdown in a part 2, let me know in the comments down below, but we are just going to cover this briefly. First things first, Manchester United want to defend on the front foot, push high, get men around the ball and try and win the ball back. Part of that comes from the rest defence shape of having players in advanced areas like so. And like I said, United want to play on the front foot, win the ball back as quickly as possible. Surprise, surprise, having a left-footed defender is going to help United do that. So let's say the opposition are building the ball down their right-hand side like this, right? The fullback's been dragged high up the pitch and the ball comes into this sort of area. The winger gets in here. Having a left-footer, they want to run out towards the left-hand side. It's just natural. A left-footed defender wants to tackle with their left foot. So they're happy to get nice and tight, knowing that if the opposition try and knock the ball down the line, down this way, Martinez is happy to stick a left foot out, Luke Shaw is happy to stick a left foot out to win the ball. It's quite a natural tackle, and it allows you to win the ball nice and high at the pitch here. If you put Maguire in this situation, he kind of, because he wants to use his right foot, he kind of tackles backwards a little bit. He's kind of trying to stick this right foot out, but it means he's kind of turning his back on the play to stick his right foot out to make the tackle, which then means that he is off balance, and it's much easier for the opposition to dribble past him. So again, instantly, having a left footer, a player who is happy to defend in this area, means United can go defend on the front foot, win the ball back and keep the ball much higher up the pitch, and again take control from there. Now of course there are situations where you can't win the ball back instantly. You can't instantly get the ball back and the opposition are going to attack you. So let's say this is on the counter attack for example. The good thing about having a left footer is that they want to show you out wide. Again, onto your stronger left foot to defend on. Maguire at times wants to show people inside a little bit, because he's stronger on his right foot, but that means he can then get beaten way too easily down the line. Martinez is almost inviting you to knock the ball down the line and going, okay, I can deal with you in that situation. So by having a left footer trying to deal with this situation down here, naturally it's just easier because he wants to defend on his left foot. And then in terms of Manchester United's point of view, when you've got players like Casemiro who's happy to drop into the defence, it just works really well. So if United are getting counter-attacked, the space is always out wide. Having a left-footed centre-back means that he's happy to go defend in these areas. And then of course, if the opposition get all the way to the byline into these sorts of areas, into these sorts of channels, having a left-footer is just so much easier. It's just so much easier to deal with, and we've seen the benefit of that with Luke Shaw here. We can see that Malacia is slightly out of position, he's been beaten. Luke Shaw at left back is kind of happy to come out into this channel and deal with it, opening his body up and then using his left foot. Really, everything about it, just being left-footed on the left side of the pitch, it just makes sense. It's just so much easier, and it's why Luke Shaw and Lisandro Martinez are so important to Manchester United. Particularly Shaw over the last few weeks when United have been a bit limited for options. Luke Shaw has done an absolutely brilliant job. Ten Hag has coached him brilliantly. And yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say. Like I said, I'm aware this is a bit of a longer video, so thank you guys for watching. I want to break down why a left footer is so important. Because like I said, I think it's something that people kind of go, well, Ten Hag wants a left-footed defender, so fair enough, that's what he wants. If that's what he wants, United will be better with a left-footed defender. But we haven't spoken about why. And kind of got into the nitty-gritty, got into the details of how having a left footer improves the balance of a dominant football team. Hopefully today we have covered that and kind of given you guys a better understanding of some of the ways in which Luke Shaw and Lisandro Martinez, whoever it is at centre-back at the time, makes Manchester United better compared to having a right footer. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, I hope you have enjoyed the video, and as always, I will see you in the next one.